Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today we are going to be creating a magical themed scene card with Mama Elephant stamps and dies. Today we're taking April 2025 release products and combining them for this super cute and fun scene. We're going to start today with the new Studded Stars Creative Cuts frame die. This die set comes with the rectangle as well as the circle. I'm using the rectangle only today, and I've die cut it from some Nina 110-pound weight smooth white cardstock. Then I'm taking several shades of Distress Oxide ink and applying them all over the panel. I'm using tumbled glass, prize ribbon, shaded lilac, and black soot. I'm going to apply these colors and just kind of build the color and intensity by applying my lighter tumbled glass first and then pulling in some prize ribbon as well as shaded lilac. It's going to give us all of these beautiful blues and purples that I wanted to create this kind of magical night sky. The border on this Studded Stars is going to add to the fun, magical feel of this design. Now, this card actually doesn't feature that many images. There's a lot of quote-unquote white space, even though it's more like nighttime scene space. But I love that because I think it really allows your eye to see the scene without overwhelm. I'm a big fan of both, and we definitely are going to do some of those extra things that I always like to do for my cards. Now, once I have all of the color, all the blues and purples added to my frame, I do want to go ahead and go in with black soot, and we're going to use this all the way around the perimeter of the card. We're even going to pull it into the center in a few areas. Yes, this does end up covering some of those lighter areas. I do think they still peek through. I'm not using a super heavy hand when I'm applying the black soot, but the black soot instantly adds that nighttime feel that I'm going for with my card. Next, we're going to take some sort of a wavy stencil. In this case, I'm going to use Lawn Fawn Hillside Borders. And what I want to do is I want to create this lighter ray that looks like it's coming out from our wizard's staff. I mean, he's kind of our Gandalf kitty, right? I'm going to then take a paper pouncer and some white pigment ink, and I'm going to pounce it along that side of the wavy hill stencil. I'm going to move my stencil over and I'm going to do this again. This is going to create kind of this beam, I suppose, of light. It could also be smoke or smoke from the potion or something. But I want this to be able to look like it's kind of coming from his little magical staff. Then I am going to go in with some silver foundry wax, and I am going to use a paintbrush to kind of give a more controlled spatter, mostly along that beam or ray of light. You'll notice that I didn't go in the upper right or lower left corners. With foundry wax, you always want to heat set it because it will wipe off when dry if you don't. This is going to give us a beautiful silvery sparkle. I love this, and that is going to finish off this design. Full disclosure, I did let this sit overnight because I used so much pigment ink with the oxides and the white pigment, and I knew that I wanted to stamp and emboss right over the top of this. If I was going in and adding some sentiment strips or die cut greetings, etc., I probably could have gone ahead and finished it, but I decided let's just let it sit while I'm sleeping, come back the next day, we can stamp and emboss the greetings and the phrases that I want to use for this card, and I don't have to worry about the embossing powder sticking to some other areas. Now, if you want to stamp with a black ink or other color of ink that will show up against the white sky or the night sky, you could do that right away as well. It's just if you want to emboss anything. I personally love a bright white embossing against this beautiful night sky background, and so I feel like it really ties in and goes with the rest of the theme of the card. I also want to make sure that all of the little studded stars around the perimeter of the design are popped out. We will be layering back behind this some of the silver vellum from Simon Says Stamp. It's going to give us a beautiful shimmery silver border all the way around that ties in to our Magical Wizards card. Then we are going to stamp our images for this design on, actually I used the rest of the scrap of cardstock that I die cut our Studded Stars panel from. We're going to stamp those with intensified black ink on the white cardstock and color in our images with Olo alcohol ink markers. I've listed the marker colors I'm using down in the description box here on YouTube as well as on my blog for easy reference. I also laid out my dies, my greetings to give myself a very good idea of where I'm going with this card design. Here are the images I picked. So I'm just going to call this Gandalf Kitty, his staff, a little cauldron with a kitty, the moon, and then I did stamp the star 5 times. We're going to then color all of these images in with some purples and blues and neutrals and a few little yellow golds Olo markers. I made sure that I got a really good stamped impression by using the Misty. And then we're going to start coloring before die cutting with the coordinating dies. Unfortunately, I was tired when I colored in my Gandalf Kitty, and so I missed coloring that on camera for you, and I do apologize. I will list all those colors down below so you know, but we will color the rest of the design. We used some beautiful blue violets and some beautiful blues for his outfit and some lovely neutrals for the kitty himself. For the staff, we're going to use a couple of colors of brown, a different color combination than what we used for our little kitty. And then for his little orb in the center, I decided to use some blues in a lighter color combo and even shade in a little bit of my lightest blue violet for a little bit of that bluish purple vibe. I want everything to coordinate really well for this card. For my small kitty with the cauldron, we're going to color him in some warm gray colors. Just nice light grays for a nice light gray kitty. I love how he's hanging off of the edge of the cauldron. I thought it was really cute and funny and could be used for your Halloween cards as well. Then for the cauldron, we're going to go back to our blue violet colors. So these will be very much like the colors I used for Gandalf Kitty's outfit. That should help show how I colored him in. Starting with our darkest shades, we're going to blend along the edges of the cauldron with our darkest blue violet color, pull out with our next darkest color, and then we'll shade with the lightest 2. In this case, I did use 4 shades of markers for anything with these blue violet purples. The lightest color has a lot of the blender or the 0 marker in it that really kind of pushes the ink out. So be careful to not oversaturate your paper so that that color bleeds outside of your black line. For the star on his hat, I did go for the light blue colors to match the orb in the center of his staff, and even pulled in a little bit of that purple along the edge and did the little bands or ribbons coming out from the sides. I don't really think that they're leaves in a dark blue. For the moon and the stars, we're going to use the same color combination, but use a darker color with the moon. So we really used a lot more of that darker yellow orange and then blend it out with our lighter. And then we're going to do much lighter stars, but they're all really within that same color. So they all use the same color. I just used a lot less of the darker yellow orangish marker. In fact, that first one, I didn't like how I colored it all. So I colored over the whole thing kind of with a heavy hand with my lighter shade to blend it out. Okay, we're going to grab the coordinating dies, line them up, tape them in place, and die cut all of these images. Next, we are going to take our background. It is the next morning, and we are going to line up our greetings. I am using greetings from the Magical Wizards set, the same set that the images come from, and the Spell Abilities stamp set. I liked how they all kind of flowed together, plus they fill in that white space beautifully. The sentiments I picked are "You are so spelltacular, wishing you an enchanting day filled with magic and joy, and shine bright and show how amazing you are." I felt like they flowed really nicely like this, and it's a fun way to get lots of words on a card. The size of these is perfect. We're going to emboss these with a white embossing powder, again, so it shows up really well. Now, after sleeping on this for a night and thinking about my card design, I decided I didn't really want Gandalf and his cat just, floating in outer space, basically. We want them up in the clouds, kind of standing in these puffy little clouds. So what I did, and I had it out on my desk, so it really made it convenient. There is a poofy cloud note die Creative Cuts from Mama Elephant, and we are not going to use it as the little note card that it is, or as it's intended for, but we're going to use the edge. I die cut it twice from that same silver vellum, and we are going to layer these pieces along the bottom edge of the card to give us those cloud layers, if you will, but also eliminate those die cut lines in our cloud note. The silver vellum is super forgiving, and we're able to really hide the adhesive back behind. I am trying to draw it along the edge as much as possible so I don't have big globs of glue showing through, but we're going to lay one down kind of at an angle, then we're going to layer the other one down to disguise and hide those lines. Then I'll simply flip over the panel, take my scissors, and trim away anything hanging off the edge. This instantly cleans it up, and it also instantly makes this scene card go from cute to great. I absolutely love this little step. Any sort of cloud border is going to be perfect here. Now, because I am not popping up anything else on this card, we are actually going to glue everything directly to the background. I don't do that very often. You guys know me. I love my foam adhesive, but what this does for this card design is it makes it very easy to mail. We have to love that. It makes it very easy to mail, but this doesn't look like a super flat card design, and I love that. After I've positioned my kitties and the magical staff, we're going to glue the moon in place and scatter our stars in the sky. Then we're going to take some silver Spellbinders gems, and we're going to scatter the two smallest sizes from that just in the sky a little bit. Adds to that sparkle just a tad, and it is the perfect finishing touch. The other thing that I always like to do when I am working with critters or faces on anything is to make sure that the faces really shine and pop. In this case, or in all cases, I like to use the black Jelly Roll pen and a white Jelly Roll pen for highlights, and we will add a few to some of the stamped images. Nothing crazy at all. I've glued my background panel to the silver vellum, and it shows through that border, and it adds an instant frame. It's just another level to give our background that wonderful framed up look. Because my panel was heat embossed and it does want to curl up a little bit, to help make it secure to my card-based background, I did put some of my magnets in place. I like to work on this Glassboard Studio glass mat, and it does allow me to be able to use my magnets to kind of help hold things down in place while I'm working. Here's those white highlights I'm adding to my images. I also added the black for the eyes, which instantly makes the eyes pop. We'll grab those silver gems, add a few of those scattered throughout, kind of intermixed with the colored and die cut stars and moon. And that is going to be it, friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this super magical themed scene card featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me for today's tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community.